go. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. I gotta be honest with you. That game drove me nuts. I cannot believe the Buccaneers lost that game. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Tough one. Man, that was an absolute blazer from the Cooch, wasn't it? What a crazy game. The Bulls are bowl-bound for the third season in a row. An incredible performance. And listen, we know the competition. They did what they had to do. No more silver linings. No more moral victories. It was put up or shut up time. And boy, did they rise to the occasion. Well, there you have it. I was off for about 30 minutes, and so many things have already happened with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yes, Jamel Dean has agreed on a 3-year, $36.7 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that is not the big news. The big news is that after 12 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 12 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6-time Pro Bowler Mike Evans is gone. He's gone. He's going to the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year deal. And I got to shout out my guy, Tom Krasnicki, who had Evans to the 49ers on the docket for a while there. I'm so verklempt right now. I wasn't have my microphone here. Breaking news. Mike Evans gone after 12 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It looks like he's going to sign a 3-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't, in a weird way, like, I'm not like in a position of like, oh, I'm like grateful for this or grateful for that. Like I'm kind of pissed, to be honest with you. I don't like this at all. Like, I don't. And I think if you're a Buccaneers fan today, I think it's perfectly fine to be pissed off at this situation. And still be respectful and still be grateful for what you have. You know what you got from Mike Evans. But I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. I think there's so many things wrong about this. And as Adam Schefter said, Mike Evans' decision to leave Tampa was not about money. The Bucs were aggressive in their pursuit and presented what was said to be a very strong offer. It came down to a desire for a new challenge as Evans enters the last years of his career. That should tell you all you need to know about why this situation was completely different between Mike Evans and Steven Stamkos. This changes Mike Evans' legacy forever. I don't care what anybody else has to say about this situation. You wanted a new challenge, fine. And I'm grateful and appreciative of the time that he gave to me and to the Buccaneers. But at the end of the day, it is a business. But if you feel like you have a better opportunity to win with somewhere else, see ya. This is a dark cloud. This is I think this is one of the worst days. I honestly think this is one of the worst days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. Because you are losing a guy in Mike Evans that was a 6-time Pro Bowler, a guy that's a future Hall of Famer, a guy that has done so much on the field and off the field in this community. And the fact that he doesn't think that his best chance to win in these final years of his career is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a huge stain on the legacy of both Jason Light and Todd Bowles. I said this before. You're not going to hear from Mike Evans that had anything to do with, oh, this gives me a better chance to win, because what that'll do is paint Todd and Jason in a very negative light. He's not going to do that. He's got way too much class for that. We always knew that if he was going to leave, it was going to be something like this. Oh, I need a new challenge at this end, or something with my family. That's what it was going to be. Because Mike Evans is the type of guy that was not going to throw the Buccaneers under the bus on his way out. He just wasn't going to do that. Mike earned this right. It doesn't mean that we have to be happy about it. But this is a direct shot across the bow at the Glazers, at Jason Light, and at Todd Bowles. You didn't do a good enough job of putting this roster together so that Mike Evans, at the tail end of his illustrious career, thought that, just think about it like this. Mike Evans thinks that it's a lot better chance for him to win in a division that has the Super Bowl champions in it. Think about that. Mike Evans is leaving the easiest division to win in football to go to the division with the reigning defending Super Bowl champions because he thinks it gives him a better chance to win. What the hell does that mean and say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now as this team is constructed? Take all the positive vibes about the re-signing of Kate Otten or bringing in Kenny Gainwell or bringing in Alex Anzalone. Take all that good stuff out right now. This is a dark day in the history of Tampa Bay sports. This is one of the worst days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. No doubt about it. It's sad. It's sad. It shouldn't have ended like this. And now, Mike Evans' career is going to be looked at in the same vein as John Lynch and Warren Sapp and some of these other guys that you just couldn't. There's no reason why Mike Evans shouldn't be on this team. He's not going to go down in the same breath as Aronde Barber and Derek Brooks. And again, I go back to last year when I told you, when everybody else wants to sit here like a lapdog on the lap of Jason Light, believing everything he does is perfect. And I told you the Emeka Egbuka pick was not the right one. You may not want to hear this, and I guarantee you not many people will say it, but the drafting of Emeka Egbuka played a part in Mike Evans not being here. If you draft a defensive player that makes your team better and you have less holes to fill around you, and your best depth isn't the wide receiver position, maybe you have more money for Mike Evans. Maybe you give him more confidence that you can make a freaking stop on 3rd and 28. Maybe this team makes the playoffs. We're not even having this discussion right now. I don't care what his production is going to be for the San Francisco 49ers. He's persona non grata to me now. He's on the competition. He's somewhere else. That's it. It should not have gone down like this. And to all those people out there that said, I'll believe it when I see it, you're seeing it now. You're seeing it now. And it's a freaking shame. It's a shame. We should not have lived a life as Tampa Bay sports fans where Steven Stamkos and Mike Evans are wearing uniforms for different teams. You shouldn't have. You guys deal with a lot of shit when it comes to the Rays, and you're told that it has to be this way, and then you have this incredible 5-6 year run where you're Tampa Bay and your team Tampa Bay in the spotlight during one of the darkest times during our entire country's history when we're dealing with COVID. And people are locked in their house. You guys have the ability to have boat parades and happiness and joy. And the two guys in the middle of that whole thing are not even here 6 years later. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Just awful, man. I'm pissed. I am way more pissed than I thought I would be. And it shouldn't have to be like this. Sports in this town, man, they drive me up a wall. I love it, but it drives me up a freaking wall. The emergency podcast alert. Emergency podcast alert. Mike Evans is gone. What are your thoughts, guys? I'm not taking any phone calls right now, but I will in a little bit. Comments, questions, concerns, leave them at the bottom. Who do you blame? Mike is gone. Jamel too. What a misstep. What an absolute misstep. And when you look at this entire thing, I don't care if it was about money or not. I just, it's awful. It's awful. We should not have been here in this situation. And shout out to the super chat. King's Orful. 13 is smart. He's with an actual good HC now. Glazers chose to keep blank blank bowls. 3rd and 28. It's no longer fire bowls. It's whoa, that's a little much, but hey. What's gonna happen next year for this team? And you know what's gonna happen today, and you know what's gonna happen about all this stuff. And I told you this earlier on the show. Don't be surprised if he signs a low number. Don't be surprised if he doesn't sign for 30 million. If it's a smaller number, it's going to hurt even worse. It's going to piss you off even more. Because it's not about the money. You're right. And when he said, "Oh, I want to go out there and I want to test my market value." Oh, yeah? I don't think so. I think you just want to see who was interested in you. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick. Sick. 7th overall pick in 2014. First ever draft pick. All-time leading score was 662 million. Listen, Devin Bush leaving the Browns, going to the Bears. God bless you. Jamel Dean getting that money. Good for you, buddy. What does that tell you, though? What does that tell you about this team? If Jamel Dean, who played some of his best football, was gone. Woof. Woof. What a dark day for the Buccaneers. Here's a statement, and this is from Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. From Mike Evans' agent, Derek Gilmore. After 12 remarkable seasons in Tampa Bay, Mike Evans felt a desire to challenge himself with a new chapter in the final stage of his career. Throughout his entire career, he has pushed himself to grow, compete, and evolve as a player, and this decision reflects that same mindset. Mike has tremendous love and respect for the Buccaneers organization, the Glazer family, the coaches, his teammates, and especially the fans in Tampa Bay who have supported him since the day he was drafted. Tampa will always be home to him, and he is deeply proud of everything they accomplished together. He also has great belief in the future of the Buccaneers wide receiver room. Mike has tremendous respect for Chris Godwin and believes that Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, and Tez Johnson are incredibly talented young players who will thrive as they continue to develop and take on larger roles in the offense. At this stage of his career, Mike's goals remain the same as they have always been: to compete for another Super Bowl, to play in an offensive system that challenges defense, and to be in an environment where he continues to push himself and contribute at the highest level. We'll get back to that. That's the paragraph right there. The Buccaneers made it clear they would have loved for Mike to finish his career in Tampa Bay and potentially become just the 4th player in franchise history to spend his entire career as a Buccaneer and ultimately walk into Canton representing the organization, obviously following Leroy Selman, Derek Brooks, and Rondé Barber. Mike Evans' decision to leave Tampa was never about money. The Buccaneers were extremely aggressive in their pursuit and presented a very strong offer, demonstrating how much they value him and everything he has meant to the franchise. In the end, this decision simply came down to Mike wanting a new challenge and a fresh opportunity while he still has a great deal left to give the game. Tampa Bay will always be a special place for Mike Evans, and his respect and gratitude for the organization and its fans will never change. Woof, 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 and more woof. I'm sick. I'm sick. Oh boy. I still can't believe this. I can. I'm not surprised. But it's just Miscalculations. That's what happens, man. Miscalculations. It doesn't happen now. This thing happened last year. This thing happened the last couple years. Putting this roster together, the way that they've been able to do this. Cap space, cap schmash. I don't really care. It's again, you're not wrong, Greg. I know you disagree with me, but this isn't a sign that Evans doesn't believe in the direction of the team. What is? I don't disagree with you, buddy. I don't. Richie P, our guy. Yeah, I hear that, but I get it. I believe it pretty much affirms that this is about the roster, coaching, and the direction the team is going. Yes, my guy Vince, Jays, you know myself and my family live and die with the Bucs just as today, but it's not like we haven't been kicked in the nuts before. I'm with you, pal, and I feel bad for you, Vince, and I love you. We shouldn't get used to that in the Tampa Bay area. And Vince is one of the tried and true Tampanians, Buccaneers season ticket holders, very proud Tampa Catholic alum after their win over Jesuit on Saturday, and now they are the number one team in the city of Tampa. You don't deserve this. And this is part of the reason why I am as vocal as I am. And people can say, oh, you're from New York. What do you know? What I do know is what I do know. And I know that you don't deserve shit like this. You don't deserve days like this. You don't deserve to see Mike Evans and Steven Stamkos in another uniform. You don't deserve to see the Rays treated like the little sisters of the poor and getting everybody scraps and freaking shopping in the bargain freaking bin at Walmart. You deserve better than this. That's why a guy like Rob Higgins and what he's doing at USF, all gas, no brakes. We're not coming. We're already here. That's why I'm on board with him. Looking at this situation, here's another thing. This is from the Buccaneers. Saying goodbye to a legend. Hold on. Saying goodbye to a legend such as Mike Evans is never easy, but today we are filled with appreciation and gratitude for all that he did during his extraordinary 12-year career as a Buccaneer. Our goal was to always ensure that Mike would play his entire career as a Buccaneer, but as we got further in the process, it became clear he was looking for a new challenge. Why? Because he felt that being somewhere else gave him a better chance to win. He leaves as the most accomplished offensive player in franchise history, a six-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion, but it was his dedication to making a difference off the field that will define his lasting legacy in our community. We wish Mike continued success in his next chapter and thank him for all that he has done for the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay when the time comes. We look forward to gathering once again to honor his many accomplishments and celebrate his eventual Hall of Fame career. This is from the Glazer family. Sad day. Sad day for the Buccaneers. If you're happy with where you're at, you don't look somewhere else. That's why I told you guys this from the beginning. And I'm not the pessimistic guy. I'm not the sky is falling guy. But I've been telling you guys this for weeks and for months. You do not look elsewhere if you're happy with where you're at. You do not flirt with other girls if you are in a happy, committed relationship and you are loyal. The fact that we knew very early in this process that Mike Evans was going to talk with other teams was not good. This wasn't casual flirting. This wasn't, hey, let's go to the bar. My guy Mike Evans signed up for 5, 6, 7, 8 different dating apps. He was on Hinge. He was on OkCupid. He was on Plenty of Fish. He was on Tinder. He was swiping right until he finally landed on the San Francisco 49ers. And now, a 3-year deal, he's going to be there, catching passes from Brock Purdy in an offense with George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. Sick to my stomach today. Hit that like button. Hit that like button right now. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching, please hit that like button. This is a huge, huge slap in the face and a huge, huge stain on three people. And I'm going to say this again. This is one of the darkest days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. That's not hyperbole. It is what it is. The fact that in 2026, we are going to see Mike Evans and Steven Stamkos playing for different teams is sickening. And this is a huge stain on Baker Mayfield, on Todd Bowles, Jason Light, and the Glazer family. Because you have a guy that has been here for 12 years. You have a guy that has won a Super Bowl and has 6 Pro Bowls. And he plays in the weakest division in football. And he thinks it's a good idea to finish his career out in the West Coast with Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, in the NFC West with the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. He thinks he's got more gas left in the tank and better football ahead and a bigger and better chance to win next year, leaving the worst division in football and going in the same division as the Super Bowl champions. If that isn't a shot across the bow at the Glazers, Light, Bulls, and probably to a lesser extent Baker Mayfield, I would say a much lesser extent. I don't know how much playing with. I think he liked Baker. I wouldn't put this on Baker. So if that isn't a shot across the bow at the Glazers, Jason Light, and Todd Bowles, I don't know what to tell you. And oh yeah, let's not forget, the Rams just traded for and made Trent McDuffie the highest paid corner in the history of the NFL. So you're going to play in a division with Matthew Stafford, the reigning MVP, and the Rams, and that defense, and arguably the best coach in the NFL in Sean McVay, and Mike McDonald and the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks and that defense. You'd rather go across the country, uproot your family out of Tampa Bay, not go to your home state of Texas, and go and play in a state in California where they take all that money out of your contract, all that money out of your check to play in California. Think about that rationale. Whether it's a good fit for the Buccaneers or not. Whether if it's one of those things where they're going to be better in the long run or not. The fact that Mike Evans thinks that playing for the San Francisco 49ers gives him a better chance to win than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's just awful. And that is why it's one of the biggest mistakes or one of the darkest days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. And I said this earlier on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. When Mike Evans walked off the field that day and was yelling 3rd and 28, I don't put much stock usually into the emotional outburst of players because that shit happens. It happens. But we should have known that was the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of the end. He doesn't trust Todd Bowles. He doesn't trust the moves made by Jason Light. I'm sure he loves Jason Light. But he's not happy with the way this team is constructed. And the reason why I don't, and I'm saying I'm not putting Baker in that conversation, not because I think Baker is better than Brock Purdy. I just think that relationship with them two is pretty strong. So I think I don't know if you can look at those two things and go, he left because of Baker. He really cares. He likes Baker a lot. And this is, one of those things that it's not hearsay. It's something that I know. So while I could agree, and I know Millard, you're not a big Baker fan. And listen, Mill, I've been one of the few people here that has said that I don't think that Baker Mayfield will lead this team to Super Bowl. I've been on record. People called me a hater. I don't really care. It wasn't strong enough, to be fair. It wasn't strong enough in 6th Street Blues. Wasn't strong enough to keep him here. So you got a point there. But when you talk about the reasons why he's not coming back, I think the first two reasons are he doesn't trust Todd Bowles' ability to coach his team and Jason Light's ability to build this team. And again, going back to the Jason Light situation, just because you're appreciative of him doesn't mean you could be happy with the decision that he's made. Divorces happen all the time. Terrence, Baker will not lead this team to the promised land. He ain't it, period. You heard me, Terrence. You heard me say it, Terrence. Even though we kind of look alike, yeah, I'm not drinking the Baker Kool-Aid. I don't see it. I don't. Last year, he was on the short list for MVP. No doubt about it. But with that being said, if your guy plays worse when he's injured and plays worse at the end of the season, that's not what you want. You can say whatever you want about guys like Eli Manning or the year from Joe Flacco. Like, those guys got better at the end of the year. They could be inconsistent as hell. Give me a guy that's going to play like shit for 3 quarters, and in the fourth, sometimes, somehow he finds, the golden arm in the fountain of youth. I'll take that all day. All day. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's pissed today. Texting me. Yeah, I know. No, trust me, buddy. Again. I wanted to answer this question from Vince. In your opinion, if we make a coaching change, does Mike make this decision? Probably, because I think the damage was done. I think the damage is done. I think he already knew. Because again, you could change the coach. Who else would you bring in? Who else would you bring in? Because you bring in an offensive coordinator. Because and here, all right, I definitely know that, yes, it still would have happened. And here's the reason why. You brought in Zach Robinson. You brought in the guy that I think a lot of people were looking at going, he could be the best option out there when it comes to an OC. And this is a guy that has proof of concept because you're going to be running a very similar offense that we saw a couple years ago with Liam Cohen. So I don't think it would have mattered to Mike. The damage was already done. He already signed up for the dating apps. Sad. Be real, grow up. Thanks, John. I'll be real and grow up. All right, John. I'm not reading that. Not great. I appreciate you, buddy. I know, pal. I know. I appreciate you saying that. But think about it. Is your first name Millard or is your first name Thomas? Because I think you have a name that could be both. I love it. If your name's Thomas Millard, I think that's cool. If your name's Millard Thomas, it's even better because you should be like a king or like a royalty. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you, buddy. But again, how many people you hear saying that? That's why I love doing this. And that's why I appreciate everybody out there. It's like, I'm going to be saying things on here that people are going to be scared because, oh, well, Jason Light might listen to our show or, oh, man, this person. I don't care, bro. This is who I am. I only know one way. That's all I know. And I'm going to call people out. I don't care who you are. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't care who I offend because it's not personal. It's not personal. I really like Todd Bowles. I really like Jason Light. This is a business. We're talking about the business. This is not my opinion. And again, last year, I was one of the few people, again, saying that Todd Bowles should have kept his job and given opportunity to figure it out. They gave him an opportunity and they took a step back. I'd be an idiot and an asshole if I just said, all right, well, I'm just because I said this last year, I'm going to stay this. No, man. If you don't take new information and adjust your opinions on things, you're a robot. You're not real. You're just playing to the masses. You want to be a person that just agrees with everything. You want to be a person that just goes against everything. Like, that shit is lame. That shit is lame. I'm going to be the modicum of patience and caution and relaxation at times. And other times I'm going to speak up when people don't have the balls to say it. And I'm going to say it again. I don't think Baker Mayfield's the guy to lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. I think that Mike Evans not re-signing with the Buccaneers is one of the darkest days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. And the biggest reason, two reasons, are Jason Light and Todd Bowles. That's it. That is it. And how about this? My boy at work just got his Evans jersey in the mail. So you can call that a throwback, my brother Roberts. Call that a throwback. And listen, again, this isn't one of those things where it's like Mike is going to go kill it next year. I know he's had his injury concerns, but I think what a lot of people are kind of missing during this whole thing. Yes. I knew it, bro. I freaking knew it. I knew with that name. That is one of the strongest names. You are the. I love strong names. I love names that sound like they should be a third or a fourth. Millard Thomas the third is one of the best names of all time. Millard, you're the man. You're the freaking man. Listen, we're all emotional, right? We want the Buccaneers to do well, but just hear me out right here. Hear me out. Okay. A lot of times in sports, we get so mad about the contract. We get mad about the decision to leave. We get mad about a guy getting fired, a guy getting hired, a guy not getting fired, trades that do happen, trades that don't happen. Okay. But the thing we have to realize in sports, and I think in life too, is that when certain people make decisions, it tells you, you have to read between the lines. And it's more than just the obvious. Okay. When you hear Steven Stamkos say a couple years ago that we haven't heard from the Tampa Bay Lightning when they've spoken to other people, that tells you that there's something wrong there. Right? JRecher10 at Yahoo, Mill. JAYRECHER10 at Yahoo. Send it to me. But two things have happened in the last 6 months with the Buccaneers, right? That should tell you everything you need to know about the Buccaneers. And I want you to listen very intently to this. Two things in the last 6 months. Number one, and we spoke about it on this show, and you probably know what I'm talking about. The number one thing that tells you about this Buccaneers team was the signing of Jason Pierre-Paul. I was in that room when outside linebackers coach at the time, Larry Foote, told us we needed to have more juice. We needed to have more energy. Okay. So you need more juice and you need more energy. So you're going to get a guy that hasn't played in 2 years? Why do you need more juice and more energy with a veteran head coach, a veteran coaching staff, Super Bowl champions, Vita Vea, Antoine Mayfield Jr., Levante David, Yaya Diaby, Hassan Reddick, Kalijah Kancey, Jamel Dean, Zion McCollum, who you just paid? What am I missing here? What am I missing? So it wasn't the signing of Jason Pierre-Paul. It was what that signing told us. And that signing told us there is a problem with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, that they feel at the end of the year they have to go on and get a guy that hasn't played in 2 years. And I love Jason Pierre-Paul, a Giant and a Buck, a guy that has been awesome to me every single time I talk to him, guy that came back after blowing some freaking fingers off in a fireworks accident and helped the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl. Salute my guy. And a USF grad, get bent. I love that dude. But it's not the fact that they signed him. It's the fact that what that signing meant for this team. No energy, no juice on the defensive side of the ball with a defensive head coach. Day one, when that news came out, boom, lights went off. The warning shots went off. Number two, Mike Evans leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The fact that Mike Evans thinks he has a better chance to leave better chance to win and go to arguably the toughest division in football and move his family to the West Coast, not back to Texas. I would have felt a lot better if he went to go play for the Texans or the Cowboys. You're going to play for your hometown state. This is something as a kid that you wanted to play with the star in your helmet. I get it. It's like when a baseball player at the end of his career wants to go play for the Yankees. I'm a Yankee fan, or I grew up a Yankee fan, so it's a little different, but it's like there's certain teams that you want to say that you played for. Real Madrid, Manchester United, like things like that. I get that kind of thing. Because you're a kid, you grew up as a sports fan. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to do. You want to experience that before you retire. I get that. But this wasn't that. This wasn't, and this is what sucks about this whole thing. Okay? It's not so much the fact that Mike Evans left. It's the fact that Mike Evans' thought and Mike Evans' belief is not with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. This is the most important thing out of this whole Mike Evans saga. It's not that Mike Evans left. It's not that Mike Evans is, what you're going to miss inside the locker room, and you will. It's not that Mike Evans could get hurt again next year, and it's not because of the money. It's not because of what he could do next year for the San Francisco 49ers. It's that the best player offensively in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not believe in the Buccaneers. That shit is sad. That shit is very sad. And after just watching in person Brian Hodgson talk about how he wouldn't have been able to go here. Like, it's about belief, right? It's about believing in the project, right? But I'm going to put this, hold on. Let me put, stay here. All right, hold on. Wow, man. And thank you everybody right now. If you're watching for the first time, this is crazy, man. It really is. This whole situation. So again, and please, everybody, sorry about going silent. I had to type. When you don't have a producer, you got to do this shit yourself. Everybody kill that like button, please. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Share this post, share this podcast on your social media platforms right now. I don't want to hear anything about new challenges. I don't want to hear anything about money. Mike Evans just did not believe in the Bucs. And honestly, do you blame him? Who do you blame? You blame Bowles, you blame Light, you blame the Glazers, you blame Baker. I don't blame Mike. This is not one of those things where you look at Mike Evans and look at him as a traitor or a turncoat or anything like that. And again, it's not so much of Mike being here versus not being here and what he'll do next year for the San Francisco 49ers. This just comes down to the fact that Mike Evans, at this point of his career, after 12 years in a place where you won a Super Bowl, you made 6 Pro Bowls, this organization did whatever they could to get you 1,000 yards last year, 2 years ago, that you don't believe in the direction of this team. You think you have a better opportunity to win in a division with the reigning defending Super Bowl champions in the Seattle Seahawks. You think you have a better chance to win with the 49ers in a division where they have the MVP in Matthew Stafford. They just went out and they traded for Trent McDuffie and made him the highest paid corner in the game. Mike Evans does not believe in the Buccaneers. He'll never say that. He'll never say that. He's a classy individual, and on his way out, he's not going to throw Jason Light and Todd Bowles under the bus. And that's why he frames it as looking for a new challenge. But you cannot sit there and honestly tell me that if Mike Evans believed that the Buccaneers gave him the best chance to win, that he was going to leave. He doesn't believe in this team. And I don't blame him. And I don't think anybody out there does too. And I don't, I know Jason Light just put out, that's fine. Put out all the statements that you want. It's not good. Not good. Let's see what Jason Light had to say. Zion Johnson, Chargers going to the Browns. Bucs fans are not thrilled. Not thrilled. Let's see what Jason Light, if Jason Light said something here. Nah, nothing on here, it looks like right now. It's weird how he kind of went silent. John Franklin Myers plans to sign with the Titans 3 years, $63 million. I know. Oh, the Bucs X account. I think that was just what the Buccaneers had to say. Let me see. Oh, this is Jason Light. Okay, yeah. My first draft pick as general manager in 2014 was the 20-year-old Mike Evans. From the moment he walked in the door, Mike made an immediate and lasting impact on our franchise. Over the years, we watched him grow, thrive, and develop into a franchise icon whose legacy will carry on well past his playing days. He has always meant a great deal to me professionally and personally, so it's difficult to see him go elsewhere. I wish Mike, Ashley, and their family the best as they move on. Think about what kind of guy that Mike Evans is. A great dude, family, father, husband. And the fact that he would leave, a situation like this, what does that tell you about Mike Evans' belief in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? No bueno, buddy. No bueno at all. Again, it's sad. It's a sad day for Tampa Bay sports fans. Hector, I believe the Bucs are going to be okay. Not sure why everyone is blaming the GM. Why? Well, what makes you think that, Hector? Is the barely winning the worst division in football the overriding sentiment? Is the inability to beat a rookie quarterback at home the thing? Is it getting possibly worse? Is it retaining a coach that more than half the fan base? I don't know. I'm not very optimistic going into next season. Are you? Is anybody optimistic about going in? About the Buccaneers going into the next season? The fact that you can force Mike Evans away pay says so much. Dude has taken so many pay cuts to stay here and done so much for the community. Couldn't disagree with you. I mean, yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Excuse me. And it's not about pay cuts. It's about reallocating those monies. Reallocating that money into signing bonuses that they can use money elsewhere, which is really, nothing. It is what it is. All right. If you guys want to chime in on the conversation and I want to get you guys in here, here is the link streamyard.com/HI86 MVH67P. If you want to join in on the conversation, just click on that link on your phone or on your laptop. Let's hear from you. Your thoughts on Mike Evans leaving. Is this the biggest loss in Tampa Bay sports? Maybe. It's him or Stammer, right? It's him or Stammer. Eric, when the head coach says he doesn't know how to fix the problem the team has during a post-game pressure, that's to tell you all you need to know. It's Hold Evans. Yeah, you're right. And the thing is that when you look at this situation, and G-Dub says next to Stamkos, when you look at this situation, it shouldn't have come to this. It shouldn't have come to this. Better decisions by Jason Light and Todd Bowles would have prevented this. And it doesn't really matter how many years. Again, it's not so much the fact of Mike Evans not coming back here. It's about him not coming back here and what it says about the team. Shout out, Boy Wonder. Hey, Jay, we met at TC a few years ago, and honestly, I would love to hear the big dog reaction. He would call bull spit on Bulls and the lack of poor coaching and lose your franchise. Wide receivers what hurts a lot. Appreciate you, man. Mike has to rebrand. He can't wear 13 anymore. Wow. What number did he wear at he'll probably wear number 1, right? I think that's what he wore at Texas A&M. 5 and 12. This is rough, man. Rough. I'm gonna miss him, our best receiver, but his hamstring recurring injury. Time is the infinite jest. Neil Peart was a prophet. Jay, what really was going on in the locker room while the player meetings? Was there dissension in the room? You know what? It's funny you say that because one thing that we lauded Todd Bowles for is, I guess Evans did wear 13 at Texas A&M. All right, my bad. Appreciate it. I was just trying to think outside the box, see what other number he would wear. I look forward with this team, and you'll have Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin. These guys are going to have to step up, but injury concerns to Chris Godwin, concerns to Jalen McMillan. What does that mean for this team? Again, I was resigned to the fact that there was a possibility that this was going to happen because more and more people were looking and saying it looked like he's going to be on his way out. And then you hear the message from him, you hear them, and you know what's kind of shitty too? Like, I hope we do hear from Mike in the next 24 to 48 hours. Like, I don't want to hear from your agent, bro. I want to hear from you. Like, you mean that much. You mean that much. Yeah, you're right. I think even if they get rid of Bowles, he's gone. This is a good point from Mike LaRue. If Mike Evans doesn't believe in the Bucs plans for 2026, then why should Bucs fans believe in them? It's a good point. If Mike doesn't believe in the Bucs, why should you? I'm going to post that right now on Twitter. Wow. It's a good one, Mike. I like that. Days like this suck, man. Days like this suck. And I remember as a kid when Mark Messier left the Rangers, I was like so crestfallen. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I know it is the nature of the beast, and I know it's part of the business. But when you put your money and your time and your energy and you support these teams, and you heard from our guy, Vince Gagnon, who has been a lifer, a freaking lifer. And you hear what he has to say. And a big thank you to Elusive Tortugas. 3rd and 28 reaction is all you need. Bulls not getting fired will be a giant stain on Jason's tenure as GM for the Buccaneers for Evans leaving. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And again, if you're just joining us, Mike Evans leaving the Buccaneers after 12 seasons to sign a 3-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers, the six-time Pro Bowler and former number 7 overall pick in 2014 out of Texas A&M when people thought that Johnny Manziel was going to be the pick that year. I don't know a Buccaneers team in my immediate career without Mike Evans because he got drafted in 2014 and I started working for WDAE in June of 2014. So that's kind of crazy, man. That's kind of wild. If you're just joining us, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Today is one of the darkest days in the history of Tampa Bay sports. And the fact that Mike Evans left, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And as some of our viewers here on the show have already said, if Mike doesn't believe in the Bucs in 2026, why the hell should we? The fact that Mike Evans would leave the easiest division in football to go play in the toughest division in football with the MVP and the Super Bowl champs, yikes. It's not just the decision. It's not just the money. It's what the decision says to you as a Buccaneers fan. He doesn't believe in these guys. If he doesn't believe in the franchise that did everything possible to get him 1,000 yards, if he doesn't believe in the general manager that changed his life by drafting him in the first round of the 2014 draft, if he doesn't believe in the head coach that gave him every opportunity to come back and be a functional part of this team last year, what the hell does that say about the Buccaneers in 2026? If the guy that had every single opportunity to support you and be in your corner and give you the benefit of the doubt, if he couldn't even do that, what does that say about your hopes for this season? This was a needle in the balloon of the season before the draft even happened. I don't know what could happen for the Buccaneers. I honestly don't know what could happen for this team, for this franchise, to make everybody feel better about what just happened today. What would it take? It would take to trade for Max Crosby. It would you'd have to get a huge draft. Like, I don't know what it would take. But once again, it's not about the injury concerns about Mike. It's not about the production and where he went. It's the fact that he didn't believe in these guys. And the fact that he has to hide behind a veiled comment of, I'm looking for a new challenge at this stage in my life. Why? Why? How bad could it have been if Mike Evans got forced out of Tampa? The general manager wanted him back. The team wanted him back. They were doing everything. You heard Peter Schrager say on ESPN, they were desperate to get him back. Think about that. And again, another reason why it had absolutely nothing to do with the Steven Stamkos thing. Julian Breezeball did not look desperate to bring Steven Stamkos back. He almost had to talk to him on the tarmac after the playoff loss because of how good he played. I told you from the beginning, that's why these two situations were not as similar as you thought it would be. And that's the low-hanging fruit bullshit that I tell you about sports media. Oh, this guy's stammering, Mike Evans, the same thing, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't be lazy with your sports takes. Do some research. Have an idea of what the hell's going on. The Buccaneers wanted him back. They had multiple conversations with him. They were very cautious, tiptoeing into free agency because they wanted to make sure that they kept the door open. Julian Breezeball slammed the door on Julian Breezeball. That's why I said last week he's going to have to be the one to open it up. And now we're at this position. Now we're in this position right now where you have Todd Bowles and Jason Light and Baker Mayfield and no Mike Evans. The best offensive player in the history of this organization just told you as a fan base that he doesn't believe in the direction of this team going forward. I would rather uproot my family that has a base in the state of Texas and the state of Florida and go to California where they take so much money out of your freaking check. It is unbelievable. And I want to go play in the toughest division in football with the MVP Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams, who just acquired and signed the highest paid corner in history, and the Seattle Seahawks coming off of a Super Bowl championship. What the hell does that tell you? Mike Evans could not get out of this relationship quick enough. And the bad thing is, I don't know if a lot of people blame him. If he would have went to Houston, if he would have went to Tech, if he would have went to Dallas, and he says, "Hey, I want to go to Houston. I want to play near my hometown in Galveston." I think a lot of people go, "That sucks," but I get it. You want to play in front of your friends and family. You want to, no state income tax. I get it. I get it. I want to play for Dallas. And listen, I'm no Dallas Cowboys fan, but respect where respect is due. I mean, this is one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. As a kid growing up in the great state of Texas, you dream of playing for that star on your helmet. If that's the story that he's articulating to us, you kind of get it. Hey, man, sucks, but you get it. Then you say, Mike's decision. What really could the Buccaneers have done? But the fact that this is the decision that he made, this is the route he took to go out to the San Francisco 49ers. This says a lot more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than it does about Mike Evans. And I feel bad for all you guys out there because I don't care what happens in free agency. I don't care what happens in the draft. Again, Mike LaRue said it the best. If Mike Evans does not believe in the Buccaneers, why in hell should you? 3rd and 28. That was the beginning of the end of Mike Evans with the Buccaneers. I truly believe that. And just thinking back to it now, watching him walk by, and Mike Evans is one of those guys that doesn't always walk out by himself. He's a guy that walks out with teammates. He's on the field, dapping up other players on the other teams, exchanging jerseys. Like that's him, But that day, 3rd and 28, enough is enough. What happened on that day is going to live in infamy here in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lore. It's about time for another documentary for the Buccaneers because I really, really want to hear whatever the hell happened. And oh yeah, the Bucs still don't have a pass rusher. Now what? Now what do they do? They're going to get Trey Hendrickson? Maybe. Spend $30 million on that guy. 31 coming off a season-ending injury. Not I, my friends. All right. It's going to wrap it up for me. Crushed it today. Look at all these people watching, over 120 on YouTube. These emergency podcast alerts are pretty badass. I love you all, man. The way that you can help me is by donating via the super chat. Kings of Rahul, King Zoraful. I always want to say Kings of Raul. Thank you so much for the super chat, and also Elusive Tortugas. And it's not that Mike doesn't believe in the Bucs offense; it's our defense and HC. ET, I'm going to call you my friend. That's part of it. And I think a lot of people are they're over the Todd Bowles thing, and ultimately, this could be the end of Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. Not this year. They're not going to move on from him now. But the Bucs had a lot of good vibes the last couple of years. A lot of good vibes. And those good vibes are gone. I know, brother. I know. I was there, Armando. I heard it. Hit the Bucs and Evans equally. They let the most deserving player of all time to retire, only playing for the Bucs because of Todd Effin Bowles. That is a problem. You chose Todd Bowles and Jason Light over Mike Evans. And at the end of the day, it's again, we can kind of go back and forth about that whole thing, and I understand that. Um, but again, regardless of Mike Evans and the impact on the team and impact elsewhere, he doesn't believe in this team. He doesn't. What does that mean for 2026 and beyond? We shall see. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I love you all. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. I appreciate everybody, man. We freaking rocked out this hour. I got to get rolling because I got a meeting coming up and then I got practice tonight. I love you all. Big shout out to Honest Hammer, EverHealth, and you. Tomorrow, live from Benchmark International Arena. Lightning talk, but of course, more talk about Mike Evans and the Buccaneers. I love you all. Everybody be well. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the J Rich Podcast. I'm gone. Peace out.